Hello, everyone. I hope you're doing very well. I hope your first week has gone well. It's raining right now. I'm filming this at Sunday morning at 8:04 a.m. But say la vie. That's life. We didn't have any real homework. I just had the discussion question asking what difficulties we had with English pronunciation, and we had some nice answers. The discussion questions, just to clarify again, those are not homework assignments. They are meant to replace, to substitute class discussions. So they are your participation grade. And that's the important thing to bear in mind. They're not essays. Your spelling isn't being graded. Your idea, your participation is being graded. So I'm giving some comments on some of your ideas, but I'm not going to comment on every single one every week because it's a lot of them. But I want to see that you are comprehending, that you're taking in information, and that you are, at least semi-confident of what's going on. So this week we're going to talk about syllables and stress. And it's something I know you know about, but it's something that can be quite difficult to bear in mind and while we're talking, while we're actually making speech. So it's something quite nice to work with. Hopefully, this is helpful for us, and we'll see you at the end of the lecture. Let's dive in. So let's dive right in and check out what is a syllable. Every language has a syllable. It's the parts of words that contain phenoms, and phenoms are the smallest units of sound that we use in a language. Every spoken language has phenoms, and we put the phenoms together to make syllables. And syllables are the groups, the units of a word, of a word. Well, it's the easiest way. So syllables are always centered around a vowel in English. And we can see this. If we have a syllable here, we always must have a nucleus. We always must have a center of it. We can have certain words, certain syllables only have a vowel, a one vowel. Words, things like ah or a. It's just one syllable. It's one sound. It's one vowel sound. So have it. So nucleus. We have the example words of cat and sing. So these are both one syllable words, but they have different parts within. We can cut up the syllable into different parts. So the nucleus, which is the vowel. Then we have what's called the onset, the beginning part, the k or s sound, the c or s sound. And then we have the coda as well. And the coda is the last part, the t, ning of voice. So cat and sing, again, they're one syllable, but they do have the constituent parts of that. So phenoms make syllables, and then we can move on. So yes, looking at it, we can see words like onset, nucleus, and coda. Onset. Onset has two syllables. We can see this with the vowels. So we have a, e. And so onset. Nucleus. This is nucleus. Three syllables. Nucleus. Three syllables. It's a little, we can say it's a little more difficult to parse out, to figure out, but the oo, e, we see the vowels. Three syllables centered around vowels. Coda as well this one's much more direct to figure out. We see directly in the written form two vowels, and ba-bam, there's our two syllables. Ko, we have, and da. Ko has a k and the vowel o, ko. So coda. So ko has an onset and a nucleus, but no coda. And da as well has an onset and a nucleus, but no coda. So that happens. All right. Excellent. But I wanted to think about this because this happens when we go with every language. But what are some of the challenges that Korean speakers have with syllables when speaking English? And of course, in this class, I want you to start thinking about pronunciation and English pronunciation, but also trying to think, what challenges are your students going to have when learning new languages? Your students are going to learn English at the very least, other languages, Chinese, Japanese, French. There's similarities and differences of all, but it's something to start thinking about. Or in second semester, you should have started thinking about, how are you going to teach these ideas to young learners? Obviously, if you have a group of fourth graders, you start using words like onset, nucleus, and coda, they won't know, they won't care to know, and they really won't care to learn what those things are. I'm not sure, I actually don't know, when you learned these ideas, these component factors of a syllable. But let's take a look here of same word but written differently. Nice and nice, or as people used to pronounce it, nice. That's how they used to say it. I don't know how kids say it nowadays though. But nice and nicer. How many syllables are in the Korean word? Na, I, se. 1, 2, 3. Bam, bam, bam. Easy peasy. Now, how many syllables are in the English word of nice? Nice, nice. Now, this is week 2, so we still might be falling into this trap. Pronunciation, syllables, phenoms, all these things. What we're talking about, the main focus of them, these are not written language. This is not the written language. Spelling doesn't matter here. What matters is the sound. I want you to think. So don't see N-I-C-E, because I know you know that I and E are vowels, and syllables are centered around vowels, and there's 2 vowels, and coda has 2 vowels, so obviously nice with 2 vowels has 2 syllables. But it doesn't. Listen to the sound. Nice, 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 nice. What syllable sounds do we hear in the word nice? Nice. We heard I. We hear the diphthong. That's it. We just hear that. There's no E ending at the end. It's just a S in nice, nice. That's all we're hearing. Nice. There's only one vowel sound in this word, and that makes it one syllable. Hopefully you're able to hear this, because I feel very smart right now explaining this, but not really. But it's something that can be quite difficult, especially when going from Korean and Hangul, and how easy it is to just point your finger and count how many syllables there are. But in English, it's not that direct. So in another segment of this video lecture, we're going to have some activities that we can do with students, with young learners, to help us and help them count how many syllables there are, and really understand and visualize and remember how many syllables there are in English words. Hi everyone, just want to take a quick sidetrack about syllables and how we can keep count of syllables and help our students learn and practice English syllables. There's a short video we'll watch afterwards, that a segment from a children's cartoon that explains the concept of a beat, like a musical beat that words have in English and in Korean as well. As we discussed earlier, Korean syllables are very easy to see visually, but with English syllables, they're not. So you probably did this when you were younger as well, of clapping on the beat of the words, and those words being the syllable, the parts of the words being the syllables. So, for example, we have the word cat, 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 cat. One syllable, one beat. But words like apple, 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 we have 2 syllables, 2 beats. This is very helpful to help for students to learn and better, learn, understand, and remember syllables in English. Because we'll get words like, we'll see salamander, 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 salamander. We have these beats, and these are effectively syllables are effectively the beats of the words. There are other activities, other methods of teaching syllables that we'll work with students, and we'll get into more of those later. But I want to take a quick sidetrack and make sure that we know the most common, the most popular method of practicing syllables in English.
Many words like this. Huh, so many words. And every word can be split into parts. We call these parts syllables. Syllables. A word could have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or even more syllables.
Syllables. Could a word have 1,000,000 syllables?
No, that is too many syllables. Words with 1 syllable, and therefore 1 beat. The first word is dog.
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 I said dog. Ha ha! Good girl. Now everybody clap your hands to make 1 beat when I say the word dog. Okay, ready? Here we go. Dog. 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 Dog! Hey!
What is stress? I know you know that stress, is stress. It's the thing we get when we feel bad, when we have lots of things to do. Stress in the languages, in the phonemic sense, of course, is when we say something louder and longer than the other sounds in the word. Every word has stress, and every word has main stress, one main stress. So words like syllable, 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 stress, stress, syllable stress, syllable stress, syllable stress. So certain parts of the word are stressed, said a little bit longer, a little bit louder than the other parts. And we'll get on to it next week and the week after, talking about word stress and sentence stress and all these other kinds of stresses. It's not something I want us to worry about too much in producing, but it is something important to understand and to be able to recognize. This helps us understand a great deal. I want to take another side tangent real fast and talk about sarcasm. Sarcasm is a way of talking where you're saying words, but you don't mean what you say. And is through tone and stress, it is obvious that you're being insincere. It is a way of showing ridicule or joke or things like that. I used to use sarcasm a lot when I was in high school, especially, and then into university. And it wasn't very nice. It was me being a jerk kind of thing. And when I moved to Korea, nobody understood my sarcasm, so I had to learn to stop doing it. It didn't work. And here's a short comedic clip from a TV show that shows a very nice example of how it looks and sounds when someone is sarcastic.
Great party, huh? I actually don't know anyone at the party, actually. I'm kind of new to the neighborhood, actually. But my friend Chris said, come to the party, I'll introduce you around, you'll know everybody by the time you leave the party. Chris knows everybody, and soon I'll know everybody. Chris didn't show up. So I guess I gotta mingle. So here I am mingling. Of course, mingling really isn't my game. I'm not really a mingler, per se. I was actually in the corner alone mingling. that means I'm not talking to anyone, actually. I saw you over here. I said, there's a guy by himself. Why don't I go over here? I'll mingle with this guy. This guy looks like a mingler. So, hi, I'm Derek. Pleased to meet you.
Well, it certainly is a pleasure to meet you, Derek.
I'm sorry if I bothered you.
Oh, no, you're not bothering me, Derek. Far from it. There's nothing I would rather do than just stand here and chat with you. You know, really get to know you.
Look, I don't think there's any need to be sarcastic.
Oh, I'm not being sarcastic. No. This is just a little speech impediment. I can't help it.
Okay, I've obviously said or done something wrong to upset you. I'm just gonna apologize and be on my way.
No, please stay. It's true. I've talked this way all my life. It's made things very difficult for me.
Yeah, right.
Hey, where are you going? Come back. I really want to be your friend. I'm so lonely.
So syllable stress is something that can be a little bit difficult to find. So let's try to see where we can place our stress in each word. So let's see here some examples. Well, one, Korea, 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 Korea. Where does it sound like it's a little longer? So Korea, Korea. Cat, cat, cat. Cat's one syllable. It's pretty. One syllable. Photograph, 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 photograph. Which parts sound louder and longer? Something to bear in mind. We only place stress on vowels. We cannot place stress on consonants. It's something that we should be aware of. So we're going to place that stress there on the vowels. So it can't be Korea. So Korea. So Korea, Korea, Korea. Korea, I place it on the second syllable. Okay. There are rules, actually. But again, this is the problem. In English, when we have rules, there's always exceptions to the rules. They're never 100% enforced, never 100% true. So most two-syllable nouns, the stress is on the first syllable. Present, export. He gave me a present. Korea exports kimchi, for example. Most two-syllable adjectives, again, are like nouns, are placed on the first syllable, on the front. Happy, clever, happy, clever. Now, this is where it gets fun. Most two-syllable verbs place the stress on the second syllable, on the rear end, on the back end. And even though you'll notice that the verb present and export, present, 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 export, 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 export. So it's another clue of what word's being said. Now, obviously, through sentence and conversational context, you'll know which one's the noun, which one's the verb. But this is an indication of what kind of word it is. Stress changes that. And stress changes meaning as well. So it is something to be aware of, to kind of be careful of. If we're too sarcastic, if we're too willy-nilly with our stress, it sounds awkward, it sounds weird, and it's more difficult to understand. And that's not, we don't want that for our audiences, whoever they may be. So let's take a look here. It's something I want to really emphasize. We've noun and verb stress with these nouns. Here we have suspect, present, conflict, project, permit. So suspect, present, conflict, project, permit. But with verb forms, suspect, present, conflict, project, permit. So stress changes depending on where we are and what kind of word it is. So suspect, suspect, present, present, conflict, conflict, project, project, permit, permit. All right. Now, we do have plenty of fun exceptions. Words ending with ick. So stress on the penultimate. Penultimate means second from the end. So you will hear the words like the penultimate episode. That means the before the final episode. So graphic, geographic, geologic. Those nice words. So stress on the second from last. So the syllable, these words ending with ick. So before ick. And words with jin or shin, expression, revelation, expression, revelation, expression, revelation. So again, words with the jin and shin ending. Then we've got stress on the anti-penultimate. A-N-T-E, anti, means before. So this before the ultimate, ultimate being the final. So we have words ending with C, T, F, G, democracy, dependability, photography. We notice that this is the third from the end. C, cra, mo, democracy, dependability. So E, it, bill. So dependability. And here with photography. Photography. My chest and my head moves back when I say that word. It's a lot of it's very photography. It's very much of an explosive word. Now, more anti-penultimate, third from the end, words ending with L. Critical, geological, critical, geological. We see this here as well. Now, this is where it gets more information-based. Compound nouns. We put stress on the first part. Think about, we have a compound word. Compound, of course, being words with two parts. Blackbird. What kind of bird is it? It's a blackbird. That's the important information. It's a blackbird. Or say, for example, greenhouse. What kind of house is it? It's a greenhouse. So we place stress on the important part, the part that makes it different, the part that makes it special. Now, compound adjectives. We see stresses on the second part, and then so bad-tempered. Now it says second part. It means the second part of the word. It's a compound word. So we have the first, bad, and then tempered. But then we follow the singular word, adjective form of stress rules. So bad-tempered, old-fashioned. Bad-tempered, old-fashioned. And then we also have compound verbs, stresses on the second part. To understand, overflow, undercut. All right. So I'd like you to read this along out loud with me, because we're going to listen and feel and see if we can hear and feel the differences ourselves. So I'll read it, and then you read it. Then I'll have to trust that you're reading out loud, but I trust you. The bank recorded a new record yesterday. The bank recorded a new record yesterday. So the bank recorded a new record yesterday. All right, you go ahead and take 5 seconds and say that yourself. The bank recorded a new record yesterday. The bank recorded a new record yesterday. The bank recorded a new record yesterday. All right. Let's take a look at the second. He presented his wife with a beautiful present. He presented his wife with a beautiful present. He presented his wife with a beautiful present. All right, now you take a turn. He presented his wife with a beautiful present. He presented his wife with a beautiful present. He presented his wife with a beautiful present. All right, let's try this out with the third one. They're conducting a study into his conduct. They're conducting a study into his conduct. They're conducting a study into his conduct. All right, you go ahead. I won't do the creepy voice this time. And there we go. Fourth, the suspect was suspected of robbing the bank. The suspect was suspected of robbing the bank. The suspect was suspected of robbing the bank. There we go. Take 5 seconds for yourself. And finally, the desert was so dry that it is usually deserted. The desert is so dry that it is usually deserted. The desert is so dry that it is usually deserted. We can hear the duh and then sir. This one is a great example of sentence. Desert, deserted. We can really feel that difference there. So go ahead and take a turn and read it out loud. And there we have it. There's week 2 talking about syllables and syllable stress. In the other section of the class, you'll go over a lot of a lot more of the theory of it. And so it's something that we should be aware of, especially with how we break down syllables. Something very, very basic, but it's important that I know that you know how to do it and how to break down syllables and then stress. So this week we'll have a very short quiz instead of a discussion question. The quiz isn't going to be hard at all. It's just going to be asking, how many main stresses can a word have? The answer is one main stress. What phenoms can get stress? Vowels. Only vowels can get stress in English. Then questions about syllables, and then how do we break up words into syllables, and then also, I'll present you with a word and you'll need to, say how many syllables there are, things like that. Nothing too stressful. If you've attended the class, attended the videos, then you'll have no problems whatsoever. So sometimes we'll have discussion class questions, and sometimes we'll have short quizzes. This is a way of ensuring participation with the videos, as it were. All right. And then as we move along into next week, week 3, 4, and 5, we'll get more into it, and we'll start, next week, we'll start talking about teaching, and teaching with young learners in particular, because that's what you're all signed up for. Hopefully you're all doing well. Hopefully things aren't too stressful right just yet. But please take care. Please stay healthy. Hopefully you've been vaccinated or are getting vaccinated. I just got vaccinated myself last Friday because it takes a while. So hopefully, you're staying safe, stay healthy, and we'll make sure to take care of the quiz when you can later this week. So please make sure to stay on eClass and stay abreast of information. If you have any questions, please ask them on eClass. Otherwise, we will stop here, and we'll see each other again next week. Thank you, and goodbye.